All right, here we go, boys. The main event of the evening. This is what we've all been waiting for, especially myself. Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira for the lightweight strap. When I watch all Charles's fight, he does get hurt. Ilia Topuria is talking about when he touches people's head, it's going to explode. So.
And I think he's one of the finest mixed martial artists that's ever stepped into the octagon.
Appreciate you, Joe Rogan. My black ass ain't coming back. All right, now, boys, we're on to the co-main event. Alex Pantoja taking on KKF France, the new king of the flyweight division. I have Pantoja winning this fight. You know, always like when an athlete doesn't mind fighting anywhere in the fight, meaning that Pantoja will fight on the feet, he'll fight in a clinch, he'll fight on the ground as well, where KKF France usually doesn't want to fight on the ground. He wants to stay on the feet. See how he just overwhelms people? Like, that's what he's going to do if he fights Van. Body triangle. That's game. That's game. That's it. That's game.
What was he thinking?
That's it.
What was he thinking?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Pantoja is that his stronger suit is getting you to the ground.
Yeah.
When he's on the feet, it's a wrecking ball. He throws everything at you. So when he fights Joshua Van's gonna have to defend a takedown, and when he defends a takedown, Van's gotta have Pantoja stand up. But he's very emotional. That's the thing I feel from him. It's not like he's very emotional when he fights. But great fight. I don't like the fact that they brought him in there during his speech, because it just takes light away from like what he did was so special, you know? Yeah. But at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Great fight.
Good fight.
All right, here we go, boys. The main event of the evening. This is what we've all been fucking waiting for, especially myself. Ilia Topuria taking on Charles Oliveira for the lightweight strap. My prediction is that Ilia Topuria is going to get it done. When I watch all Charles's fight, he does get hurt. Ilia Topuria is talking about when he touches people's head, it's going to explode. So, is that Alex Volkanovski eating pizza in the back? Look, he's so confident. So confident. All right, round one. Here we go. Wee. Wee. Ooh, they're fucking going, baby. Take him down, dude. It's like, yeah. Oh, good takedown defense. He's bleeding. What the fuck? You think so? Beautiful guard pass.
Yeah.
Beautiful guard pass. Look at that. Textbook crucifix. Oh, heel hook. Don't strike. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Calf slicer. Calf slicer. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh! Oh! Wee!
I knew it.
He came in with that 2-3. Woo!
Fucker's too good, man.
Like I said before, Charles Oliveira gets hurt every single time he fights. Every time he fights. Watch, he walks straight in with his head up and he goes 2-3. Watch this. 1, then he goes 2, 3. Bop. That was it. Bop. Bop, bop. See, if I was, like, this is the hardest thing I have with the sport. It's like, dude, don't give it to Justin Gaethje. Give it to Arman Sarukian.
Who?
Give it to Omar Sarukian.
This guy?
No, not Patty. That's the right. It needs to be him. Arman Sarukian. See, I feel like Ilia is going to be a guy who fights 3 or 4 more times and retire.
What's this, McGregor part 2?
I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why I say it's a reality TV show. It's like, obviously, Arman Sarukian is the number 1 contender. He's ranked number 1, whatever you guys want to, go by the rankings. But they're forcing this fight with Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria just because it's probably going to sell more. But I think the rightful person who should be getting the next title shot at lightweight is Arman Sarukian. So, boys, I'm going to get in the kitchen. I'm going to cook this bitch up. Let us go. And now, guys, I know you know that this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. Now, Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports game we play directly from your phone. It's very simple. Go to your app store, download Prize Picks. When you do that, make sure you use my promo code MIGHTY. Cool promotion going on right now. If you play $5 and make your picks in mixed martial arts, NFL, NHL, MLB, CSGO, Rainbow Six, you name it, they got it. You're going to $50. And UFC 317, we came away cashing $2,000. So we went with Nico Price landing more significant strikes at 17.5. We cleared that. Then we went less with Alex Pantoja with 22.5 minutes in the fight time. I knew someone was gonna get finished. And then Ilia Topuria, fight time, 10.5 minutes. I went with less. I knew they're just gonna fight. And then also we went with more significant strikes with Alvin Hines cashing in $2,000. We had a good time, you know, watching the fights and playing price picks. It gets me more excited to watch because I make these picks. You know, I make my picks and then I make my picks about how the round's gonna play out, and I'm happy that I got 4 in a row. So boys, you guys make the picks at the same place, which is Prize Picks. Just make sure you guys use my promo code MIGHTY. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We just got done watching UFC 317 as Ilia Topuria makes history, becomes the lightweight champion of the world as he knocks out Charles Oliveira. And then we also had Alex Pantoja remain the king of the flyweight division as he submits KKF France. And then we had a new upcoming rising star, Joshua Van, beating the bricks off of Brandon Royval, even though Brandon Royval landed more shots than him. And then we had Money Moicano coming up short against Beneil Dariush, and we're gonna break down all these fights. Okay, now when we look at the very first fight that I wanna talk about is Moicano taking on Beneil Dariush. Now I had Money Moicano winning that fight because the man can't afford to lose. But Beneil Dariush did a good job of throwing the body kicks, kicking out that lead leg from Renato Moicano. And then in the beginning of, at the end of the first round, you saw Moicano drop Beneil Dariush, and Beneil Dariush started moving around like a mechanical bull at, you know, Cowgirl Inc., which is, you know, a cowboy bar. He kept circling around. At the end of the first round, Beneil Dariush looked like he was hurt. Go to the second round. Beneil Dariush kind of changed the whole dynamic of the fight. He ended up taking the fight to the ground, where I felt that was what led Money Moicano to have all his arms blow up. Like, when he got back to his feet, he wasn't the same Money Moicano who had a little more pop in his step when he was trying to hit Beneil Dariush. Goes to the third round, and then Beneil Dariush kind of followed the same game plan, took him down, out-grappled him, made his arm blow up with blood, and Moicano just couldn't get anything going in after he dropped Beneil Dariush. But, you know, I got that one wrong. I had Money Moicano winning that fight, but Beneil Dariush came out on top, and he got the victory. Now to the next fight. Joshua Van taking on Brandon Royval. Now, Joshua Van took this fight on 3 weeks. He just fought 3 weeks ago. He had a broken toe. He had a great showing against Bruno Silva, a fan of the show, a friend of the show. And the thing with Van, he tends to go to the fight by just trying to knock you out. There are no takedowns. There is no clinch game. There's no run of the pipe. There's no single legs. It's all stand up. Same thing with Brandon Royval. Now, I think Brandon Royval let this fight get away from him. Even though he outlanded Joshua Van, he still lost the fight. And I think where he lost the fight is that not using his experience of being in those championship fights with guys like Alex Pantoja and fighting guys like Brandon Moreno. You have to mix it up. And here's the thing, when you're fighting somebody who's so gung-ho about using his hands to knock you out, you throw body kicks. You have to get his hands busy, because it's not like Joshua Van's gonna catch my kick and run the pipe and take me down. So I don't have to worry about one part of the game in mixed martial arts when you're fighting Van, because he doesn't want to take you down. So with that being said, you know, it was basically a boxing match with some kicks. So kickboxing match. Not really kickboxing match. The kickboxers are a lot more fluid. They're bop, 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 leg kick, left hook, right hand, body kick, high kick. These kicks were typically leg kicks, push kicks, not really like, you know, high kicks and setting up, you know, the hands with the kicks, set up the hands. And then when you look at, you know, Joshua Van, you know, I feel he gets in trouble. He gets hit too much. And that's the biggest thing. Do I think it's fight of the year? No. I think the very first round of Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria had way more technique in that 3 minutes of the fight than Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. I'll get to the reason why I believe that when I get to the main event. But other than that, I think I'm excited to see what's next for Van. Obviously, what's next for him is he's taking on Alex Pantoja. One of the things you saw that Brandon Royval did is that he would throw a jab and back out. Jab, back out. And Van was doing a good job of timing it, and each time he would throw that jab and back out, Van would just get all over him. If Brandon Royval would have jab, shot a double leg, even though If Van is going to sprawl, you can stipe him. Jab, shoot, he sprawls, you pull guard, now he's in your guard, you start elevating, you go to the legs. You have to play more of a dynamic, but I felt Royval played into Joshua's Van's game, which was a stand-up where Van clearly had more power because he didn't outland Royval. He just had more power than Royval. So congrats to Joshua Van. And let's go to the co-main event. Alex Pantoja taking on KKF France. Now, a lot of you guys were hating on me saying, oh, you know, you always pick the grappler over the striker. The reason why is because when you look at Alex Pantoja, he's more than happy to stand on the feet and fight you. It's not like he's scared to exchange with anybody. I think everybody he's fought recently, Kai Asakura, KKF France, Brandon Moreno, he stood with every single one of the guys. Even Steve Ercik, he stood with Steve Ercik. He doesn't mind standing because he has a way of not getting hurt when he's standing. He piles through all the strikes with a high guard, throws those kicks, and typically his opponents run away from him. He bulldogs them, takes them down, takes the backward. That's his stronger suit. Locks at the body triangle. And once you lock at the body triangle, it's a great way to burn time and also give your opponent to make a mistake. And that's what KKF France did in the third round. Now, KKF France did have some good moments in that fight when he defended the takedown. And after, you know, when you look at after each time KKF France defended a takedown, that's when Alex Pantoja looked like he was kind of out of rhythm. He wasn't, you know, landing his feet. He was a little bit sluggish. And I feel that's just because Alex Pantoja kind of fights emotionally. That's how I feel when I'm watching him. He's a very emotional fighter where he's working through the thing. He gets a body triangle, transitions to mount, goes to mount, to the arm triangle, and then from the arm triangle, he, you know, moves somewhere else. So his fluidity in the grappling was absolutely beautiful. But you get to the third round, he gets his back, locks up that body triangle, gets the rear naked choke, pushes it in. It's the same way he finished Kai Asakura. So congrats to the new king of the flyweight division. Passes me for the most finishes and also passes Figgy for the most finishes. Now let's look at what's next for Alex Pantoja taking on Joshua Van. Now, this is probably the only part of the whole night that's potentially a sport, is that Brandon Royval was your number one contender. And you at number 12, Joshua Van taking on that Brandon Royval for that spot. Van beat number 12, beat number 1. Now number 12 becomes 1. Let's see if number 1 becomes 12. But now it's going to see Joshua Van taking on not KKF France, Alex Pantoja. Now that's a very unique matchup because you have the brawler versus the grappler. Now it's going to be the exact same thing, but somebody who's more willing to let his hands go. And here's the thing. Joshua Van's going to try to knock out Alex Pantoja. Alex Pantoja is definitely going to try to take him down. And Alex Pantoja is going to be relentless to try to get that takedown. If Pantoja can get Joshua Van to the ground, Pantoja will submit him. If Van can defend the takedown, Van will put on a nice little clinic on the feet against Pantoja. But here's the thing. Even though Van is getting his opportunity to fight for the flyweight division, Van is 23 years old. Pantoja is 35. Even if Van loses this title fight against Pantoja, you give Van 10 more years, he's going to be fucking 32. Pantoja would be 45 years old. So no matter what happens in this next fight for Van, I think it's a moral victory for only be training for 5 years of his whole entire career. So I'm super excited to see what happens between Joshua Van taking on Alex Pantoja. And now when you talk about the pound for pound, you know, top 10 pound for pound rankings, Alex Pantoja is at number 9. He has one of the most active win streaks in title fights. That's his 4th consecutive title defense. And he's tied with Alex Pereira. But when you look at Alex Pantoja, he needs to be ranked higher on the pound for pound list because the gentleman has a finish in every single aspect of mixed martial arts. He's gotten a decision, he's submitted, and he's also knocked people out, where Alex Pereira has never submitted anybody. He tends to only knock people out, and he's not even a champion. So, but now let us move on to the main event of the evening. Ilia Topuria getting it done once again against Charles Oliveira, becomes the lightweight champion of the world. So let's talk about this fight. Right off the rip, he comes in the middle of the octagon. He starts popping that beautiful jab he has, and they start exchanging. And Charles is not getting the better of the exchanges. And Charles went with a high guard and threw a low kick. The low kick was landing more of a calf kick, but Ilia Topuria was still pressing forward. I did like how Charles did try to use his size difference and take down Ilia Topuria. Through that exchange, it looked like Charles Oliveira pulled him off the cage, went for a bear hug, and went for a trip. When he did that, Ilia Topuria was able to reverse him, land in guard. Now, this is one of the things that I've always really enjoyed about watching Ilia Topuria is that he's very good everywhere. I never forget when he fought, I believe it was either Bryce Mitchell or Ryan Hall. He passed the guy's guard. He looked and he didn't try to hit the person. He passed the guard. Right when he took down Charles Oliveira, he passed his guard. And then right when he passed his guard, he went straight for the crucifix. Once he went for the crucifix, Charles Oliveira was able to get out of that and go straight after his leg and go for a heel hook. Now, you saw what Ilia Topuria did very well. He didn't try to punch Charles Oliveira when he was in a heel hook. Not a heel hook. It was almost a heel ankle lock sweep. He didn't try to punch him. He was looking to defend the toes, ankles, knees, hips. That's how you defend leg locks. He started defending him. Charles Oliveira sweeps him, and then Ilia Topuria comes back up, and he was still in danger, but he wasn't focused on hitting Charles Oliveira. He was focused on defending the leg attack, and that's one of the things I've always really enjoyed about watching Ilia Topuria is that he addresses the situation that's at hand. That's putting him in danger, and then he'll go about. Once he clears that, then he starts to fight. So he clears that. They come to Ilia Topuria gets back to his feet. Now, time and time again, we've seen this in many fights. Charles Oliveira gets in trouble, he goes to his back. He gets dropped by Dustin Poirier, goes to his back. Gets dropped by Michael Chandler, goes to his back. Gets dropped by Justin Gaethje, goes to his back. Once again, Charles Oliveira's on his back. Ilia Topuria allows him to get up. I was like, I don't know, because it gives Charles Oliveira another opportunity to get back in a gunfight. They begin in a gunfight. The one thing I will say that was very interesting that Ilia Topuria did was he was circling into Charles's strong suit. Like, he was circling left with the jab. He was popping the jab, and then he throws a jab, and then he goes to his two lands, and then once that right hand landed, Charles was out. The right hand put Charles out. Then the left hook fucking landed. That also put Charles out. Charles was going out completely out. You can see his eyes were on the back of his head. Didn't roll the back of his head, but he was out. You know, he was there, but nobody was home upstairs. And then he drops Charles, goes around to the right, lands two hammer fists, and that's all she wrote. Now, that was a beautiful performance from Ilia Topuria. I think that was the fight of the night. The reason why is because I like watching mixed martial arts. I don't really care to watch kickboxing or boxing. I just like when I see a complete game of a full arsenal of fighting, and I love how when he went for the takedown, he was able to reverse him. He passed the guard, and he immediately went straight for the crucifix. When he went for the crucifix, Charles Oliveira attacked his legs. He went for a heel hook. It was a heel hook sweep. And then he comes up, and they're both trying to watch their feet. And then there's just more that happened in that fight than a lot of the fights that happened for me to watch. Now, here we go. Who is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, technically, it should be Arman Tsarukyan because he is truly the number one contender. But they basically forced this Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria engagement because there is beef between those guys. They have had some exchanges before outside of the octagon. But this is where I had this hot take recently this week is that I said the UFC is not a sport. Like, they get to dictate what they want to push the narrative of what the fans want to see, which that's not what a sport is dictated on. And it's funny because my dad and my wife, Destiny, were watching the fights. And like, what the fuck? It's like WWE all over again. And you know, Michael was going off. He goes, why are they giving us Paddy Pimblett? It should be Arman Tsarukyan. And truthfully, it should be. The next contender for Ilia Topuria should be Arman Tsarukyan because he was the number one contender, and he was also the backup fighter for this fight who showed up, made weight, was ready to go. He looked like he was in shape, and he had no injuries going into this fight. But now, I bet you they're probably going to go Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria, which, you know, I'm not mad about that, but I want people to start earning their truthful spot of what's the whole point of having rankings when they're not going to abide by the number one contender. Like, let's just get rid of all the rankings and let's just do a poll of like what the fans want to see, and let's just run the event like that. Let's just do that. But other than that, I thought it was an absolute amazing fight from Ilia Topuria. I can't wait to see what's next. I mean, when you look at what Ilia Topuria's been able to do in his last 3 fights, he's knocked out Alex Volkanovski, where Alex Volkanovski's never been put down like that. He knocks out Max Holloway. That's never been done to Max. And then look what he just did to Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira has never been knocked out at all like that in his whole entire career. So Ilia Topuria is something very, very special. I see him fighting maybe 3 or 4 more times and right now off in the sunset. Because somebody who's that good and that special, he's going to blow through everything, and then there's going to be nothing left for him to prove. And I think he could potentially go out undefeated as long as he keeps on doing it. Because what he does, he walks across the void, he starts exchanging with people, and he's able to land his shot before they land his, and he's able to take a shot. So, boys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about UFC 317. Was it absolute banger from top to bottom? What do you guys think about Paddy taking on Ilia Topuria? Or would you like to see, Ilia Topuria take on the number 1 contender in the division, which is Arman Tsarukyan? And then also, when you look at Joshua Van take on Alex Pantoja, what do you guys think about that matchup? Boys, get active in the comment section. Michael's got to go clean this up. He's gonna, cook something real nice, good for you guys. I am going to go home because we got the Void video tomorrow. We also have the Mighty Guru podcast, which is going to be dropping on Monday. Make sure you guys tune into that. As always, boys, it's always a pleasure to break down these fights. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We will see you guys at the next video. Os.